mythical city swallowed by sea. For millennia, the name Atlantis has conjured images of a utopian civilization, possessing advanced technology and unparalleled prosperity, only to be consumed by the unforgiving depths of the ocean. The tale, first introduced by the Greek philosopher Plato around 360 BC, has resonated through countless generations, sparking both fervent belief and skeptical dismissal. But was Atlantis merely a philosophical allegory, a cautionary tale spun by Plato to illustrate the dangers of hubris and unchecked power? Or could it be a distorted echo of a real, albeit now lost, historical society? The search for Atlantis has driven explorers, historians, and dreamers to the far corners of the earth, and even to the bottom of the sea, fueled by the tantalizing possibility of unearthing a civilization that dared to challenge the very gods themselves. Our story begins with Plato himself, a towering figure in the intellectual landscape of ancient Greece. Born into an aristocratic Athenian family, Plato was a student of Socrates and later founded the Academy, one of the earliest institutions of higher learning in the Western world. It is within his dialogues, Timaeus and Critias' Asterisk, that the legend of Atlantis first takes form. Critias, a character in the dialogues, recounts the story as passed down through his family, claiming its origins lay with Solon, a celebrated Athenian statesman who supposedly learned of Atlantis from Egyptian priests during his travels. These priests, guardians of ancient wisdom, possessed records that predated even the founding of Athens, revealing a history of a mighty island kingdom that once dominated the Atlantic. This initial framing is crucial. Plato isn't presenting the story as his own invention, but as a historical account, albeit one filtered through multiple sources and generations. The Atlantis that Plato describes is a marvel of engineering and social organization. Situated beyond the Pillars of Hercules, the Strait of Gibraltar, the island was larger than Libya and Asia combined. Its inhabitants, blessed with fertile lands and abundant resources, constructed magnificent cities adorned with intricate canals, temples, and fortifications. At the heart of Atlantis lay the capital, a city of concentric rings of land and water, dominated by a towering temple dedicated to Poseidon, the god of the sea. The Atlanteans were a powerful maritime nation, controlling vast swathes of the Atlantic, and even challenging the might of Athens itself. Their military prowess was matched only by their technological advancements, rumored to include flying machines and weapons of unimaginable destructive power. However, beneath this veneer of utopia lay a darker current, a growing arrogance that would ultimately lead to their downfall. The narrative takes a sinister turn as Plato details the moral decay of the Atlanteans. Initially virtuous and guided by divine wisdom, they gradually succumbed to greed, ambition, and a lust for power. As their divine heritage faded, they became increasingly materialistic, abandoning the principles of justice and moderation that had once defined their society. This shift in character is presented as the catalyst for their ultimate destruction. The gods, witnessing the corruption of Atlantis, convened a council and decided to punish the island kingdom for its transgressions. Poseidon, the patron deity of Atlantis, unleashed his wrath, causing catastrophic earthquakes and floods that overwhelmed the island, plunging it into the depths of the ocean, never to be seen again. the Athenian perspective is critical to understanding Plato's Atlantis. The dialogue positions Athens as the virtuous antithesis to the corrupt Atlantis, while Atlantis represents the dangers of unchecked power and material excess. Athens embodies the ideals of wisdom, justice, and moderation. By contrasting the two civilizations, Plato aims to highlight the importance of moral virtue and responsible governance. The Atlantean invasion of Athens, though ultimately unsuccessful, serves as a warning against the dangers of hubris and the consequences of abandoning one's principles. In essence, Atlantis becomes a cautionary tale, a fictionalized account designed to illustrate Plato's philosophical and political ideals. But the allure of Atlantis extends far beyond its philosophical underpinnings. Over the centuries, countless individuals have sought to locate the lost city, driven by the belief that it was a real place that met a tragic end. The search has taken many forms, from armchair speculation to elaborate expeditions to the depths of the ocean. Various locations have been proposed, including the Mediterranean Sea, the Atlantic Ocean near the Azores, and even Antarctica. Each theory is supported by its own set of evidence, ranging from geological anomalies to supposed archaeological discoveries. However, none have provided conclusive proof of Atlantis's existence. One particularly intriguing theory places Atlantis in the Mediterranean, specifically near the island of Santorini, Thera. Around 1600 BC, Santorini was devastated by a massive volcanic eruption, one of the largest in recorded history. The eruption caused widespread destruction and triggered a tsunami that ravaged coastal communities throughout the region. Some researchers believe that the Minoan civilization, which flourished on the nearby island of Crete, was severely weakened by the eruption, making them vulnerable to invasion. This theory suggests that the Minoans might have been the historical inspiration for the Atlanteans, and the volcanic eruption could have been the cataclysm that destroyed their civilization. The idea of a connection between Atlantis and the Minoan civilization gained traction in the 20th century, with scholars like Spiridon Marinatos arguing that the eruption of Thera provided a plausible explanation for the sudden decline of Minoan power. Marinatos pointed to similarities between Minoan art and architecture and Plato's descriptions of Atlantis, as well as the devastating impact of the volcanic eruption as a possible trigger for the legend. While this theory offers a compelling narrative, it is not without its critics. Some argue that the Minoan civilization did not disappear overnight, and that the eruption of Thera, while devastating, was not solely responsible for its decline. A major challenge in the search for Atlantis is the ambiguity of Plato's account. The dialogues Timaeus and Critias are incomplete, leaving many details about Atlantis unresolved. Moreover, Plato's description of Atlantis is often vague and contradictory, making it difficult to reconcile with any specific geographical location. The size of the island, its precise location, and the nature of its destruction are all subject to interpretation. This ambiguity has allowed for a wide range of interpretations and theories, making it difficult to separate fact from fiction. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, the search for Atlantis continues, fueled by the enduring appeal of the legend. The idea of a lost civilization possessing advanced knowledge and technological prowess resonates with our fascination with the past and our hopes for the future. Atlantis represents the possibility of a utopian society, a world free from the problems that plague our own. It also serves as a reminder of the fragility of civilization and the consequences of unchecked ambition. The legend of Atlantis is a mirror reflecting our own hopes, fears, and aspirations. But what if the destruction wasn't a natural disaster, but a deliberate act? One far-fetched theory, whispered in academic circles, suggests a preemptive strike. Imagine a technologically advanced Atlantis on the brink of war, not with Athens, but with a rival Atlantean faction, or perhaps an entirely different, unknown civilization faced with imminent defeat or the release of devastating weapons. The ruling council chooses a scorched earth policy, intentionally triggering the cataclysmic events to erase their existence, deny their enemies the spoils, and ensure their secrets remain forever buried. This theory casts Plato's account in a new light. The moral decay and divine punishment might be propaganda, a carefully constructed narrative to mask the true, horrifying circumstances of Atlantis' demise. The Egyptian priests, Solon and Critias, become unwitting pawns in a game of historical manipulation, perpetuating a lie designed to protect the legacy of a civilization that chose oblivion over conquest. The absence of any definitive evidence could then be attributed not to the city's non-existence, but to the thoroughness of its self-destruction. Another darker possibility emerges from studying Plato's other writings. He was, after all, deeply concerned with the ideal state and the dangers of corruption. What if Atlantis wasn't a historical account at all, but a carefully crafted thought experiment? Perhaps Plato deliberately created a failed utopia to highlight the flaws inherent in any system, no matter how advanced or well-intentioned. The details of Atlantis, its technological marvels, and its eventual downfall could be a warning against the very idea of a perfect society, suggesting that human nature is inherently flawed and prone to corruption. In this interpretation, the search for the real Atlantis becomes a futile exercise, a distraction from the true purpose of Plato's allegory. The legend itself is the treasure, a timeless reminder of the dangers of hubris, the importance of moral virtue, and the inherent limitations of human ambition. The lost city isn't meant to be found. It's meant to be pondered, debated, and reinterpreted across generations. It's a cautionary tale woven into the fabric of Western thought, a shadow lurking beneath the surface of our own civilization. Ultimately, the mystery of Atlantis remains unsolved. Whether it was a real place, a philosophical allegory, or a deliberate act of self-annihilation, the legend continues to captivate our imaginations. Perhaps the true value of Atlantis lies not in finding it, but in the questions it raises about ourselves, our societies, and our place in the universe. The echoes of a lost civilization, swallowed by the sea, continue to resonate, reminding us of the impermanence of all things and the enduring power of myth. And so, the search continues. The oceans remain vast and unexplored, filled with secrets that may never be revealed. But the legend of Atlantis, that mythical city swallowed by sea, will continue to inspire and intrigue, a testament to the enduring power of the human imagination and our relentless quest for knowledge. The real treasure of Atlantis may not be gold or technology, but the enduring questions it poses, forcing us to confront the best and worst aspects of ourselves and to contemplate